Right, let's take a look at ratios now. So here, basic ideas with ratios. A ratio, again, is a comparison of two values. So let's get that. Comparison of two values. We're looking to compare two different types of things, two quantities. In this case, for this example, let's take a look at comparing three boys and four girls in a class. So here there are three boys and four girls. And while we're doing this, I'd like you to just to choose two different colors. So that way our two different colors could represent one color that you're using to represent the number for the boys, one color that you're using to represent the number for the girls, and stay with those colors throughout it. So use the same color that you do for the boys and the same color that you're using for the girls. Okay, here there's three ways to write a ratio. One of the ways that we can write a ratio is to write it as a fraction. And so as a fraction, we can say if we're comparing the number of boys and girls and we're writing the ratio of boys to girls as a fraction, boys would have to be as our top number, girls would be there as the bottom number. Again, it looks like a fraction, but if we're looking really at our ratio. So here, boys would be the top because again, we're using boys as the first number. Girls would be on the bottom because we're using girls as the second number, and here in order it is first boys, second girls. So that's how I'll write it for our fraction too. The second way that we know to write a ratio is using a colon. And when we're using a colon, same idea, since it's boys to girls, we need it in that same order, boys colon girls. And so we'll use 3:4. Again, that's how we write it. How we read it still would also be read as boys to girls, even though we see it in the form with a colon there. And the same thing goes with a fraction. Even though it looks like a fraction, we know we're not looking at 3/4. We're looking at three boys to four girls. And that's how we read that also with the word to, which is exactly why the third way we can write a ratio is with the word to. And here, instead of just using a colon, it's just like doing the same thing, except now we use the word to. So if it's still boys to girls, it becomes 3:4 with the word to this time. Taking a look down here, do know that ratios can compare any of the parts with the whole. And in this case, if we have three boys and four girls, the whole amount would be a total of 7 students. So this is a nice small class here. We're looking at a class of 7 to represent the whole number, the whole amount of them. Let's use a different color now to represent the class. You could use any color as long as whenever we're looking at class, you'll use the same color every time we're using that to represent the number for the amount of students in the class. This first one here is still representing the two parts, how many girls there are to how many boys there are. So here with this, I can write this in those three different ways. This time, since it's girls first, girls would be on top, and then we have that over the 3 to represent the number for the boys. 4:3 and 4:3. So here we have the same different ways. Again, we read all of them the same though. We read all of them the same way as 4:3. The other one here, we're looking now at girls to class. So if we're looking at girls to class, I'll still take the same number for the girls, which is 4. And then I would compare that now with the number of students in the class. So my answers for this one would be 4 to 7. And lastly, we're looking at class to boys. And so in this case, I'm looking at class first. So 7 would come first compared to the amount of boys in the class. And the amount of boys is 3, which is exactly why I end up with 7 to 3. And there we have it.